Hello everybody, my name is Brandon Jones. I'm the editor-in-chief of GameTrailers.com and the host of this show, which is called Let's All Go to the Trailers. If I seem a little bit rushed, it's because this is a shorter episode this week. I have to take a couple days off, and so I'm doing a shorter episode, so it will just be one part. If you're used to two parts, Let's All Go to the Trailers, just one part this week. I'm joined by Mr. Kyle Bossman.
Hey everybody, if I seem just a little slowed down, it's just...
And I'm joined by Mr. Daniel Bloodworth.
Hey, what's up?
And though it is a shorter episode, that does not mean we are lacking in trailer quality this week. Actually, not a lot of trailers have been released this week, but there are 3 trailers that have more than made up for all of that.
They're huge!
And those are the trailers we're going to be talking about, so let us jump right into it. We kick it off with possibly the biggest. Huge announcement, a game that maybe was rumored, but probably the most surprising announcement of the new game announcements this week for Deus Ex: Mankind Divided. I was divided on the first trailer for Human Revolution. I actually was not a fan. I thought the storytelling was very simplistic. I thought the dialogue was kind of obvious. I thought it was absolutely gorgeous. I thought the style was incredible. I was very curious about the game, but I thought the trailer itself didn't really impress me by how mysterious I wanted it to be. And I thought the storytelling in this is fantastic. I think it sets up a lot of interesting stuff. I particularly like this character with the yellow hood that we kind of see pop up numerous times. We kind of jump through his story as seen through Jensen's eyes. And it clearly sets up the bad guys. The action is totally intense. We see new abilities, and based on the abilities that we saw represented in the Human Revolution trailer that we saw then, you know, as examples in gameplay, I have a pretty strong feeling that all the stuff that the cool stuff that he's doing, we're going to be able to do in the game. It's interesting that a lot of people are reacting positively to this trailer because it's not surprising for people to react negatively to a CG trailer. But there's just something about Deus Ex that people love. What do you think, Kyle?
This trailer does a lot of really cool things. It shows you a lot of what you'll see throughout the trailer just in its first few seconds, in its first 10 seconds. I think that's very interesting. I love seeing this guy in the hoodie. We save him earlier on, just like, oh, he's getting beaten up by the cops. Clearly I gotta save that guy. And then he's a terrorist, straight up terrorist, smiling later on in the trailer. And so it's complicated. You know, it's not just like, it's like everybody sucks, and that's kind of the point of what he's saying. There's like nothing left for him to save, is what you hear out of his dialogue, and so it's cool to see it illustrated this way.
There's a lot of really great symbolism, like the robotic hand holding out to the dead human hand. So it's like you would think the robotic hand would be the one that's dead. It's just metal, but it's actually being operated by a living human being, where you have the living flesh that is now dead. Lots of angel symbolism with him in the water and the light flowing behind him, and him standing in front of the big neon
Icarus,
structure.
They go back to that. Well, as you mentioned, we definitely get to see like a lot of the new abilities shown off, and then we also, you know, we get a sense of how much more complexity there is in this story, you know, and it ties back to some of the things for sure that were in the last game, but also, you know, just where the world has gone since then is a very, very different place, you know, and I think that's the difference. Is the first game, it was sort of looking forward, it was sort of a utopia type of thing that was starting to go wrong, and then obviously the original Deus Ex was many years later, so things had gone very wrong altogether.
And that's actually something that I also enjoy is typically whenever you set up a big action game, you know, also one that's in the future, you know, it's usually like, I gotta save the entire world. You know, there's some guy that's threatening to destroy all countries, everybody on the planet. I gotta take that guy down. I will be the ultimate hero of everything. And this feels much more personal. You know, I think he actually says, like, I tried to save the world and look where we're at. And so that's not what I'm going to try to do this time. I'm actually just going to do what I want to do. And that also plays into Deus Ex, that you do what you want to do. You play it the way you want to play it. You make the decisions that you want to make. You get the ending that you want. I guess the one question that I have is, do you think this trailer will sustain? Will this trailer maintain excitement for this game based on all of the awesome things that it's showing if we don't get to see this game for a while?
It's funny because you're so mixed on the Human Revolution trailer, because I think in a way, I still prefer that one in terms of just, like, this may be a bit better in terms of the storytelling, but I feel like that was way more successful in just getting me excited about this game, and I didn't even know anything about Deus Ex when that came out. I think maybe it's not as philosophical, which I think it was like, you know, like the other one got your brain running about like, well, what does it mean to be human and all that, and that kind of now is like, now this is a character, this is where we're at, and now it's, you know, us versus them versus them.
Do you think CG is a good way to sell this game, Kyle?
it's a situation where the game probably isn't ready to be shown at this point. It's a good use of CG, I guess I would say, in that it's funny. It checks the boxes of like, hey, let's just show cool stuff. It does show cool stuff. It shows you abilities you can be excited about. But also, when you said like, is it gonna last? I think it will. I think this sells a tone that you don't see a lot of other games go for, and so it feels unique. It feels like we're seeing a game unlike other games even strive to be. So I think it has its own vibe, and I really always appreciate that.
The way this is cut, and the way that I think emotions, let me put it this way, Blood, when you were talking about the earlier trailer, the emotions are higher in that first trailer. I think that this trailer actually does an interesting job of building up to that theme. We're kind of waiting for that theme to start, you know, that like just runs and runs and runs through like the old trailer. But to me, there's just more, you have to work harder at this trailer to really piece that stuff. Like just looking at it now for like the 10th time, I noticed that the trailer begins with him hunting the guy in the yellow hoodie before the attack happens. So it's interesting that we get that before we see him save him, and then we go, you know, into the theater to rescue him, and then we go back to the bomb, and then we go back in. So you don't get everything on the first viewing. You really got to go through and pick up all the details, all of the company logos that go flying by, all of the text between...
They've made a lot of companies.
Yeah, Seraph Industries was really the big enemy in the first game, and now it's just one little tiny logo in this big mass, you know, conglomeration. Yeah, I don't know. What's negative about this? What can we say? What can we thumbs down? Because I can't give it a 10. So like, why am I not giving it a 10? I don't want to give it a 9. I want to give it somewhere in the middle.
I mean, 10 is like the top tier. You know, you work your way to a 10. You can still not be a 10 and not do anything particularly wrong.
I guess I will drop it, and this is unfair because this is maybe stylistically some issues that I have with the game itself, but like Jensen just kind of gets to me. You know, like his voice is just it's just obvious. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of interest to his character. Like he's talking like that because it sounds cool. Like I don't think he's talking like that because he's really exploring some kind of like specific character. The guy he's fighting is a little bit generic, you know, just like I am big strong guy and I destroy you. So like there is a little bit of conventionality to it. So a 9.4 I will give it, which is still a pretty darn good score. One of the higher scores I've given recently.
So I give it a 9.7 because I freaking love it. The things I'm not into are actually the facial animation of the big Russian man. I think it's straight up bad. And also, I think the trailer could have been more consistent without that showing of the logos and, you know, the Illuminati eye and the pyramid. Like, that's just kind of cheap. And then, obviously, minus 0.5 to bring it down to 9.2 because of the pre-order now. And apps.
But
Download
credits.
Our apps.
But credits.
Credits. You know I love credits.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so I'll give this a 9.2 as well. The pre-order thing definitely bums me out. Like this is their first look at the game, and I'm going to be excited for the game. But I mean, we don't even see the game. We don't know anything about the game.
You haven't earned it yet.
Yeah. If there's any like really bad offense of a pre-order, it's that first trailer.
Yeah.
You know,
it's like, come on, just give me some time to actually know what this is. I mean, it's not going to come out for 2 years, I'm sure. You know, this is kind of Square Enix MO, right? Like they've done this with, you know, the last game. They've done this with Tomb Raider. You know, like they show that thing a million times. And they do a really good job of encapsulating what their game's going to be about in these CG trailers.
Hashtag can't kill pre-orders.
Delivery.
Here's another announcement, and boy, am I just going to put myself in the smallest camp in the world to say that this legitimately got me more excited than Deus Ex. I was waiting for this. Just like any day now, LEGO is going to jump into this Toys to Life market, and they're going to announce this trailer. So the announcement I was excited by. The trailer has some problems. First of all, I want to explore, we're talking about LEGO Dimensions, and you know, and there actually is a shorter version. What you're watching right now is the extended version, which you may or may not have seen. Why Joel McHale? Of all people, weird. I mean,
number one, let me tell you why. He's a gamer, and gamers like gamers.
I mean, there is this game really wants to remind you of the Lego Movie. We're getting a sequel to that. I'm sure when that sequel comes out, we'll get an influx of content, you know, for this new Lego Dimensions game. And so I wonder if he's kind of like a weird cross between Will Ferrell and Chris Pratt, which are like the two, you know, male comedic leads of the Lego film. He's kind of like some weird, you know, mash of the two, and he does have a history in games. He's hosted, you know, the Video Game Awards over at Spike. He's hosted Ubisoft press conferences a couple of times, so it's not totally out of the ordinary to see him involved in a video game product. I almost think this is a comment. Remember that Skylanders trailer that we just all took a big dump on? Remember that
yeah,
with the
it was
kids?
like a very Spielberg-esque.
I feel like it's exactly that.
I wonder if this is like not a direct parody of that. Like, I don't know if the guys who made this have actually seen that trailer, but like, I couldn't help but think about that it does kind of play that up. I don't know. There's just some weird tonal things that aren't working for me here.
It's because it's Joel McHale. It's like because they were trying to write jokes for him and get this thing across. You're right. It lacks a sincerity of the Skylanders thing. Also, doesn't like explain the product very well.
I would say, yeah, that is kind of an interesting point to it. The one thing I think it like throughout, like from the opening shot, this is a trailer that is very much intended for adults.
Sure.
Like all around.
Very good point. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up.
It's like when they market this to kids, it's gonna be very different.
Well, I mean, do they have to market it to kids? Really? I mean, do they have to sell this to kids?
They will market this to everybody.
Kids
but
are
I'm
ready,
saying
like...
there's gonna be TV commercials and things that are gonna be at a different tone. But this is like, yeah, this is the adult male who will buy these toys, and that's kind of a very different audience, and that's what they're playing up, and that's who they know is going to be seeing this trailer first.
They would show this to the Cartoon Network crowd. I think they would show this to 10 to 12-year-olds right now, because they like Lego Movie, and I think Brandon's right. Like the vibe they're going for. I mean, Wild Style is there, and so is Batman. It's just not as funny as the Lego Movie. I see why they made a shorter version of this is because a lot of these jokes just aren't playing.
And that's something that goes back to extended cuts all around, right? Like most of the time, like there are some exceptions, but most of the time when you watch an extended cut of something, it's like, yeah, that stuff should have stayed out.
Well, it gets into what I was talking about last week with the Mario Kart trailer, where it's like there's that moment 30 seconds into the trailer where you realize, oh cool, we're getting 200cc, and then you have to wait for them to actually get to that announcement. And so I went into this knowing what it was, but at the same time, like, didn't know what the base looked like, didn't know which characters were going to be included, didn't know what other franchises we were going to get into. I got to sit through 4 minutes to get to Back to the Future, which I think is probably one of the most exciting announcements around LEGO Dimensions, that they're actually exploring that franchise. We just get Marty. I hope we get a Doc Brown, pack or something with
we can
some more
finally
levels.
make Doc Brown Spider Monster.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
I think there's just that moment where he picks it up and he opens it and sees Lego and is like, huh, and then they all pop out of the portal, and then my interest is really dipping. Like the more and more and more you're creating jokes, and when he put Batman in the mug, I was like, wow, we're really getting into this, instead of just answering the questions I now want answered, which is, how does it work? How does it play? What consoles is it coming on? What other franchises are you going to explore? They make good games. We know Traveler's Tales is putting this game together. The worst Lego game is still pretty fun, and so I think gameplay-wise, it definitely has the pedigree. You maybe would have liked a little more of what happened at the tail end of this trailer to extend a little bit longer, a little less the comedy in the beginning.
Those shots are so quick that there are a couple of them like still I'm not sure. Like, what was that? What was that thing you just showed me? But I will say I love like seeing him actually building the thing. Because I think that's a question. It's like, will it be branded Lego and just be whatever, some pre-made thing? It's like, no, you actually build the base.
It comes out of the package unbuilt. When you buy the Batmobile, it comes with a bunch of pieces, and you got to put that thing together. Which I don't know if they're going to play this up later. That like maybe you don't have to build it the way that they want to build it. That it's really the base that it comes with. That's what registers. Yeah. That's on.
I think when he makes his upgrades, that's that point. He turned the Batmobile into some weird thing with like a little cannon on top of it. So yeah, I think you could build it any way you want.
And just selfishly, I would have wanted, a little bit more information. I think that my big question that I have for LEGO Dimensions is, are you going to be able to build your own stuff? Are you going to be able to have your Disney Infinity Toy Box style mode in this game?
Oh.
Which makes way more sense for something like LEGO than it does for something like Disney. So, but at the same time, it's the first announcement. That's probably something that they'll reveal later at E3 if they have something like that. Little less comedy. I don't think. Was there any joke that really landed for you, Kyle, in this whole thing?
If you look at what works from the Lego Movie, it is these characters being sincere, because just them being themselves is inherently funny. Just them living with themselves and being lighthearted of childlike minds. That's what works. You don't need to have them say jokes.
Bloodworth, do you think we're gonna get Lego Dimensions delivered to us for review in that cool little box?
Oh.
The wooden box with the blue glowy.
I don't know about that.
We could dream, right?
With the alien instructions, yeah, absolutely.
7.9 for me.
You know what happens when a trailer makes me angry?
Uh-oh.
This is a 3!
No, it's not.
Yeah, there's one line in this trailer that makes me so mad.
No way.
Yeah, this is a 3 because he says at one point, they're like, hey, why are you so good at this? And he says, I play with a lot of Lego. And that makes me so mad that he's the weirdo for playing with Lego in a commercial that's advertising to people who like Lego things. You know, it just makes me, it really ruffles my feathers. But also, I think you didn't sell your product well. You didn't explain it. You went through a lot of jokes here. And I mean, we're rating the 5.5-minute version of this trailer, which is just stupid and pointless. So yeah, of course it's going to be a 3. Also, I think the game's looking a little, probably also not ready to be seen. And that's why we get little snippets of it. It's not looking too solid, but, you know, it'll get there. I'm positive.
I'll give this a 8.2. I do think that the one-liners just, they never work. There's not one of them that really made me laugh. I kind of groaned when they kept bringing up the staff thing. Like the animation and everything and the idea of it and like showing it off and it's like, yeah, you know, like actually like show, you know, like having the portal be a thing even, you know, I think that all really works for it and, you know, still manages to get you excited for this overall. And I think it's, you know, something, as you said, has been a long time coming.
Do we talk about Batman? Did I mention Batman's in this game?
We actually didn't bring it up.
You dare to give a trailer that has Batman in it a 3 in my presence, Kyle?
That's not Batman. That's Will Arnett.
It's close. And finally, we're going to wrap things up with the trailer that I thought everybody was going to be talking about this week until these 2 other huge trailers landed on us. And that is the launch trailer for Mortal Kombat X that we did get a tease for by the one of the members of System of a Down, who is the lead guitarist. What is he? Is he the drummer?
Bassist, actually.
There we go. The bassist for System of a Down, who used a song that, in my opinion, has nothing to do with Mortal Kombat.
Okay. Sorry, what did the bassist do?
He directed the trailer. And they actually have a behind-the-scenes thing of him talking to the editor and telling him what shots to pick and how to cut the music. The look on your face, Kyle, I wish the viewers could see. Because that's how I feel. I think this trailer is okay. I think it's an okay trailer. I could find about 500,000 YouTube content creators that could cut a trailer as good, if not better, than this trailer. It's like, yes, the gameplay does match the song at parts, but it's a song that just begs for edits to do that. I mean, it's a song that pauses in very specific parts. So it's like, okay, put the sound effect right there. And to me, the cuts in the music of this song are very obvious and just do a really artificial way of shortening everything. And the footage that they show doesn't, to me, tell a compelling narrative at all. I mean, it's just kind of like, oh, put this shot here, that shot there. You know, a lot of them are just people, like, walking. You know, it's just like, and this guy walks in the room. Just a very generic trailer. I mean, I haven't heard from any of you guys, but I'm gonna score it. This is a 6.5. Oh, and sorry, one last thing.
Yeah.
Cutting the bars and full screen just back to back to back. Don't do that. What are you doing? Just like, oh, I'm gonna do full screen, then just slip some bars in there and then go back to full screen.
No, I think that's probably the way the game footage is. 'Cause it's probably the cinematics or have the bars on them.
Totally. Don't do that. If you're going to cut to gameplay, stay on gameplay for a real long time. And then if you're going to go back to cinemas, stay on cinemas for a long time. Don't go gameplay, cinema, gameplay. It's very noticeable to me.
Brandon, I think I'm in 100% agreement with you on this game, but to me, that all those things add up to a 4.5.
What?
Yeah, you chose the wrong song.
You've been really ruthless lately, Kyle. I love it.
Like you straight up chose the wrong song. And
Did you watch the tractor thing, whatever?
This is worse than that, Blood.
No, it is not.
This is so much. You know I love this game. You know I've given Mortal Kombat games really high scores for the trailers. They've been good.
And it is worth saying that this game looks amazing.
Yes.
This game looks incredible.
And
like,
so
really excited to play it.
That's what makes me so mad is, like, it makes so much sense now that it was, like, the System of a Down guy who's, like, also, like, directing this. And I thought it was crazy, you know, but I read the comments. Everyone just, like, even I saw System of a Down fans in the comments just like, this sucks. Why did you do this? And you did. Like, that's how important a song choice can be to your trailer. You see the negative effect of it here. And you can really put it all on the song. But also, the shots you're choosing, like Brandon says, are out of order. You're spoiling a lot of things that are going to happen in the story for no reason, just to match your cuts or whatever. You show a fatality to Raiden. Because you're showing all these story cutscenes, you can't go back to a story after watching Raiden get cut in half and then he's a hero again.
Well, another example that I'm just noticing now, you have a shot of this huge army running down this city towards a crashed helicopter, you know, and it's like, oh no, look out, Cage family, you're trapped in that helicopter. And then at the end of the trailer, we see the helicopter crashing, and it's like, we're past that.
Yeah.
it's funny because I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan, and I'm not a fan of this song at all. But I thought this worked for it. I thought this was just kind of like, you know, especially for a launch trailer to like just, you know, have that punch and just like throw a bunch of crazy violent stuff at the screen, and I thought that kind of all, you know, sort of matched up to me. So I go with a 7.6 on this. I think it's, you know, something that definitely gets people that are waiting for the game hyped up. So
that is it for the week. I think even though we have 3 trailers, I think we can all be pretty much in agreement with what is our trailer of the week.
Mine's Deus Ex.
Deus Ex is marvelous. Good job, you guys. Great announcement. And also kind of a fun, although I thought 3 days was a little too long to stretch it out, kind of a fun lead-in to, you know, something being announced from Square Enix. They had a little Twitch campaign where we watched, you know, people being tortured, which
so fun.
Which I guess, yeah, just all fun and games. Which I guess does kind of play into, you know, the what we were seeing, you know, people being misused and you know, beaten in the streets and stuff like that. So like maybe there was kind of a parallel. Can we go back and research that? Like, is there any way you can watch the archive of that, or is it just gone for all time?
Shoot, they probably archived it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be curious to go back and check that stuff out. So there it is, our trailer of the week. Again, apologies for a shorter version of Let's All Go to the Trailers this week. We'll be back next week with a full episode. Thank you, Kyle.
No problem.
Thank you, Bloodworth.
Yeah.
Never change, Kyle. Never
Okay.
change. See you guys later.